Broly versus Jiren.
I'm not gonna lie. That would be a solid matchup, but I just think off of experience and technique alone, Broly might get packed up. I think Broly's getting
I don't
packed.
know.
Okay, I will say this. It depends on his training. Because if this is a fight after he didn't, because right now he's training with Goku, Whis, and Vegeta. If this is a fight after he then trained a little bit with them and learned to how to actually fight, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's a matchup. That's a matchup. I'm not sure Jiren is walking out alive.
The only reason I don't know about that is because we didn't get to see Jiren versus a fused Goku and Vegeta. We don't know that power scaling versus to like their Super Saiyan God Blue. We saw what Jiren did to Ultra Instinct. He was still able to keep up with Ultra Instinct for real.
Man, he was able to keep up with a semi ultra
Yeah,
instinct.
once he mastered that spirit
But that's
broke.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So Jiren isn't the Almighty that he was kind of shown to be. So I feel like the matchup's a little bit more even than you give it a little bit of credit for.
I'm not even gonna lie
Okay,
to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This Jiren blocked a punch while meditating. I don't know how you do.
so
That's
I
just
think
his. That's just his personality.
That's
no,
not
but
just his personality. That's pure strength. That's
No,
pure
what I'm saying
years
is
of experience.
Broly isn't a meditating type. His abilities are come from rage.
Yes, it's going to be a different power. And yes, Broly's power comes from rage. But I mean, I'm setting up a scenario to where if that is even the case, I feel like with Jiren, no matter how strong Broly is, because you got to think Goku and Vegeta are strong too, but it took them a minute to figure out how to get through all that power as far as meditation. With no training and no experience and just pure rage, he's not doing anything to that man.
I think Broly's winning.
You think Broly's beating Jiren? Oh,
If they fight, I think Broly is winning, and this is my reasoning. The Broly movie is after the Tournament of Power, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Broly movie is after the Tournament of Power. So if I'm thinking, granted, Goku lost his Master Ultra Instinct Fall, he couldn't tap into it after that, like until afterwards in the manga. So by the Broly movie, he couldn't tap into that Master Ultra Instinct. But I could assume that his Super Saiyan Blue was at the max that we've ever seen it by that point, and the same thing goes for Vegeta. Now, when I'm looking at that and imagining that, okay, by that point they're closer to Jiren's power, and that was Broly's first fight, and he went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan Berserk and is able to whoop both of them simultaneously, whoop Frieza, and then eventually have to fight like Fuse Gogeta. I feel like just by his nature, like the way his Berserk power works, because Broly also adapts like in fighting pretty fast. Like
Facts.
he's a quick learner, so I feel like because of that, like his ceiling just hasn't been. That's the nature of Super Saiyan, and that's his nature specifically as a berserker. I just feel like his ceiling hasn't been pushed, but because his ceiling has been pushed in such a short amount of time to where it's like so near to Jiren, I feel like that fight. You know what I'm saying? He might overpower him a little bit, but I feel like that switch is happening right away because that's literally like Broly's nature. Even in the latest Super movie, we see it. Like they're like, yo, you need to find better ways to channel your energy because you're about to go berserk. But now
Facts.
when we understand things like ultra ego and stuff, I'm like, maybe he necessarily doesn't need to.
Facts, but you got to understand there's also a reason why they're trying to get him to find better ways to fight. And that's the one, not only to channel his power, but two, also because his berserkness is going to him over in the end as far as like it's going to be too much power for him to handle. And so what I'm basing it as far as I'm not saying Jiren's totally washing him. I'm basing it strictly on experience. Strictly on experience as far as that, because at the end of the day, it took strategy to eventually no we had Ultra Instinct, we had the Semi Ultra Instinct, we had Super Saiyan Blue. We had to create a strategical way to go ahead and find a strategy for each point. Not only did I get Ultra Instinct, but what do I need to do to start landing punches on this man? And what do I need to do and every time they felt like they got Jiren pushed to the edge, Jiren just kept evolving his power and evolving his power and evolving his power.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying him fighting, the only way I'm going to give Broly close to that win is if we're basing it off of, because right now he's training with Whis, he's training with
Mhm.
Goku, he's training with Vegeta on how to control his power output, so he can be a better fighter and to also understand how fighting works. Because even in the Broly movie, when he fought Gogeta eventually won with the Stardust Breaker, but they even admitted there was like, if Broly actually knew how to fight, he could have still beat that fusion. And
Mhm.
so I'm just basing it off the experience level that Jiren already has. And from the experience that if we're just sitting there Broly straight into the fight with no training, I think Jiren comes out with that W.
One point that you said was that his power level, the reason why they wanted to control the Berserker is that his power level might be a threat to him. But I feel like that point is that his power level might be a threat to everybody.
Yeah.
As in Goku, Vegeta, and everybody around, he gonna f everything up. But I feel like for me, it's like you said, he could not fight by that point, right? Because Broly too, he was by himself for a while until his dad came back, found him, all that yada yada. You know what I'm saying? So that did not know how to fight, but he was able to best. Like I'm not even talking about just in raw power, but technique. He started besting somebody like Vegeta, somebody like Goku, somebody that's been training ever since they were a kid.
Right.
In literally one fight. So that's why I'm saying, like, when I see that, because Jiren had figured one thing above Vegeta, but in smarts, I think Vegeta might have him in terms of tactics. Like, the that he was pulling, Jiren just had the power behind his punches. But Broly left that defenseless. You know how much Vegeta hate fusing. He
Facts.
despises that. But
Facts.
he's like, it, we got to do a dance. And I'm going to put my pride aside because that's what that did within one fight. I don't know. We can just agree to disagree, but both arguments. I totally understand your argument too, by the way, and I agree with it. Mine is kind of hypothetical because at the end of the day, breaking your ceiling is like, but that's just what I see when I think about
Facts.
it.
I will say after he finishes training, that's gonna be a scary
Oh,
ass man.
that's a problem. That's a
That's a
problem.
problem.
That's
That's
a
a huge
problem.
problem.